monitoring yes, we are just monitoring what is happening in the space. Right. Say so far so good. Adeba kwande da Ghana for console na ehimiye na ye ho ano ye this CD dollar appreciation depreciation, but I think in recent times the rate at which a dollar no conform no yes about reflected in the prices of goods and services, because Ghana for no we are quick to say increase because dollar, but bad down there. Exactly. So I think that there must be some stringent measures by making sure that prices of goods, because dollar not to any business for quantity and a dollar not to for the daily livelihood of the average Ghanaian. Sabaya near Mumbai Hayamano. So my form Saban form for new musica. Nabum Sabaya a better trick it down to the ordinary Ghanaian on so no one. So I think that so far so good.
System new Koyi.
Oh yeah, I think there be a start here free there, and the confidence in the economy is returning because now S&P upgrade Ghana and their credit ratings are boosting investor confidence, and I think these are some of the things that share the move. So I think they're proud to election. Someone now canon and look at how Mahama is trying to re-engineer things just to bring the economy back, and I think Okabi mana when you was at this point.
And then you say dear.
At this time, no, you cannot afford to fail because you see, this is the last leg of democracy. So, we had the AC or Cote d'Ivoire and Raya. Exactly. African youth consistently make it coup d'etat very popular because of some silly decisions over the years. Democracy actually. So it is incumbent upon us as leaders just to ensure, I will build the confidence in democratic institutions once again. And yes, sir, now you see a passage here now. We are not coming back. Yes.
All right, I shall see free Chief Justice. We are sure say Enra monitor streets and also Chief Justice suspended Chief Justice. Mami get to Tokunu wako court. Niamba mienu no wade court. Wase di kind no. Nipa mienu bi wo committee na omo eye ne nsem no mu hwehwemu no so. Na wo hu ne say omo ye bias. Because omani lawyer bi akwa akohia ama meeting bi e course no ase ohunu se omotra committee no so bia enye yie e na afa so kra na asem na e course no kra na wo se court no hwe na asem no obutwam nti ese wo de sa asem na kopiem wo court a wo hwe se court be ka bia ma no ne lawyer Godfrey Dame former attorney general and Nra o file a case no
they can mention what here for. Ever since this Chief Justice petition whole thing, break it up, whenever I'm discussing the issue, I'm discussing it with some reverence because of respect to be an war for the woman. Because if nothing at all, she has been at the Supreme Court or your Supreme Court Justice. By Enra, me who petition, every bit of respect that will be moved for the woman is gone.
Oh wow!
Oh yes. The Ubakaya men, me catch that one CaptainSmart some time ago say. Se opeso hunyansania wait for a trouble day. Asaminya maya obia nimyansa. But the very moment asambato how you conduct and compose yourself to face the stormy circumstances about imagine. And I just say indeed this person is really smart or intelligent. This is a woman. What got it to a point she's fighting the very things she has defended in her entire life, and not to the point here's some of the reliefs and for me, in my personal opinion, I think this is one of the most stupid suits in my entire life.
Oh wow!
Oh yes, because there is absolute no sense in this particular suit that has been filed by the Chief Justice by the lawyers. No wonder say go for that many anymore, because you see the very things she's questioning, she doesn't even have the locus to question those things. In the first place, this is a woman all can say president right now or they are suspended call to a removal. This is absolute nonsense. And you see basic student or I think will be a basic law student will have to understand say those are express constitutional powers that has been granted to the president, and he alone can exercise those things. Because the law says one premier facie has been established, the president may, that power it's discretionary. He can decide not to and decide to. It's up to the president. And my culture say Akufo-Addo exercised the same mandate during Justice Derry and Co power. Abra not go for the dominant as if I were part of this government. So because it's John Mahama, already so see what now omo afale no. They are just seeking to ridicule President Mahama. Powers are or enjoy as a president. They're even taking it away from him because she's questioning how even the premier facie was established. So processes now move forward through a council of state in as for go through no as a court to declare the entire establishing the premier facie null and void because if you go to the constitution, there are no laid down procedures. These are the stages you need to go through to ensure that premier facie will be established. But rather, the constitution says that when the president receives the petition, he will forward it to the Council of State. The determination process, nobody has explained in any legal way. We can set up a procedure just to regularize it. Okay, this is what the constitution says, but in its implementation, this is how we want to do it. You as a Chief Justice, you've been sitting there for years. Say team said, Yan set up a procedure in establishing the premier facie. So we know that this is the process it goes through. And sadly, ye dear man for unim okahubi, ye dear man for your more free. Always the president will see the petition, forward it to Council of State. Under her as a Chief Justice, Akufo-Addo received the petition, forwarded it to the Council of State. They went through and she was acquitted. Why didn't she question that particular? You see, these are emotional. You see, these are very dishonest, despicable, vulgar, dirty people. Over the years, and I'm also an judiciary, because she's beginning to question the very thing she has stood for, she had fought for. Or they defended a year for everyone. And this woman today had the guts and the infantry to tell Ghana for say court to injunct your friend saying the ongoing process now a committee no more tenacity ye injunct me names of file that petition. I'm not sure say of yeah na make say wo ho ba e betutu asre na basa ye be kire where you are coming from, because you see or say you stop a process now you coding na sem nwie na ye di wi a ansa na committee onye serious, she's a joker. Listen, this woman as a Chief Justice Ghana for file petition okay e-levy I'll back it with facts and figures. When the e-levy thing came out, Haruna Idrisu and other people took the issue to court. By the time I ever not this woman making sure say the e-levy has been passed. Political parties took your friend saying ECA to court, just to ensure say over stopping from say young register our district level this woman the date yes what to find the date the bottom na ECA implement. She didn't even stop the EC. So we will have to removal the issue was a very critical issue. This woman, she postponed the whole thing to the extent that Papa called retirement and sana. And then you have the gut and the message. She's a shameless woman. All these years, I had a lot of respect for her. But yesterday when I saw the petition, and I said we are now allowed her to be fooled by some Governor Dami and Co. Because these jokers were recently in power, and they were the very people who were spearheading this nonsense going on in this country. And who's the Supreme Court to stop a process? The Supreme Court had any power to stop any process, because you see, these are explicit constitutional injunction on the president. It's a process that has been activated. There are even timelines on it. So if President Mahama could stop it this particular way, I may say Ghana for come at him. This whole thing need to court proceeding can go or court. Everybody, Asiedu Nketia can go to court. Anybody can go to court. You understand? But it must not have any effect on this problem, because Supreme Court has proven sufficient. They say yes, you can go ahead and proceed, and have given you 3 good instances. And then she's telling us, your friend is saying, President Kenya say, Premier Fasia, establish here no crano, yam famra council, and should be declared null and void. Which court? Which court? And a bit out of the power, over cancel that particular thing that has been, your friend saying, put forward by the president. Again, assemble all can say Kenyansa woman, you raise legal and constitutional infringement akoso under President Mahama. Say Mahama why away, etia article way, but she is bringing forth proper and true interpretation of article that would have interpreted constitution. So Nyamana tell the president and the Supreme Court say why infringe on this? Why your way? President Mahama assistance now we throw challenge to Ghanaians. But Ghana bar association Beijing and Nimgwasia none of them was able to pontificate at exact one your friends infraction a president are conducted. So on what basis? And they declare the process null and void. And again, this woman had the guts to say judges ni binu omotia konwa no so no or perceive bias. These are people we've been working with in the Supreme Court. Justice Panama Obonidi and some other people. These are so, which means judicial now or down no our tendency to be biased in favor of man for. You say I'm many beers right because the old dear man for no she knows to say this is what has been going on. So in some oil is even taking credibility away from the judiciary. Because yet as an ordinary person, I know so we could do Supreme Court judge there and got a person because of experience, so integrity is high or the not dream by and the Chief Justice is telling us Nippon no Martina Kunyaso over the years, a dear 70 amount for a good jail, yes, say minimum life or no, and because it is her, no, she is questioning their integrity. Say they have the tendency to be biased. Obuno be a question meeting. I don't know. This particular process is not a court process. Obino bit me she didn't come on as for and I know there are no factual basis to substantiate some of these things. We will prove when bring video evidence. I just say Obino be a kwatena baby. You understand? So I think say you see or sinking and I told you the last time say in any civilized society where you serve people and the people say you give up. You go home because now no me share Charlotte say interview bi na ye bisa say yi no affected and as I end day. I said this is not it was a job, not my life. She's now there. But as a wire by I see say mempesemeko then it's giving credence to impression amount for and a lawyer who kofa no aye girlfriend odame. And some no bad na leaky to the media no Sunday free baby free. I sat here and I told you where those leaks are coming from. Now no your friend is say unko koshia committee no kra no. Letter or trakwa koma committee ni say location na modern man no instead of clear na woman proper location that letter was leaked and Paul Ademochi was reading the letter on TV. So it means that every single thing coming out of this particular thing came from her. Letter na wo trakwa koma say direction yam for man as for Paul Ademochi got a leak of that particular way and he was reading. And since this whole process started, every single bit coming from the Chief Justice outfit Biano goes to him. So it means one Casano, baby, everyone who said the law is no longer a law. You are putting up an emotional battle. Because on Ghana for a dream of form, a 7 nobody NDC MPP, Obenye Pamana Kabiama. At the end of the day, if you are able to say, Niama way na President Mahama Atitia, so today they are seeking to take away the presidential powers. President Mahama say Mahama dear no if here obey I see judicial powers and as for that sick mindset, that archaic sense of reason is that we are better than Obia. Now if it is not us and nobody know, that is what is playing out. And I think that President Mahama is watching that. This stupid antics being set in motion by these people. Say Tenasema Efanoswa and the power we he need to step up and say, hey, I'm in charge. This particular process should continue. The committee, he should not change any member on the committee. Because these are people the Chief Justice has been using, working with them all these years. So, or any specific way about any individual. On Resino, bias is vague. Bias in what sense? Bias in what sense? Bias, have they shown it? Because you can perceive that you will be biased. But until that bias play out, there is no evidence to justify that will be a bias. You understand? And I said, so and I say, you can't find so concrete answers. You shouldn't be going into the gutters like a dog fighting for survivor. I'll post now. I question a camera idea about Boni team. and yeah, no chasing. That's exactly what she's doing. And for me, looking at how far she has come, the track record as a Anya Shekran, we are Ghana, your friends, a Chief Justice, you need to try for some modicum of respect, even if not for yourself, for Ghana, because you money a different some. But they're all tired to the stand, say, and I could join the very people who over the years have been making noise. And on the same MPP family, Nana, you put up some silly, your friend saying, relief on piece of paper, seeking that we will indict the president, discredit him, making the whole world look like, say, I'm being hounded because government has changed. When indeed, in some good papers, you've not been able to establish any way via HSI. You've been given the room, you've been given the power to respond. And again, sir, premier fasia na establish and all home to one kasa as a chief justice, I will letter come our president say you want to be part of that process because I catch us at that process and your adversarial process you need to hear from her at that point. Because the constitution actually says a set up committee at that point and a woman will be heard. But the president was kind enough to adhere to your call at that point, so who free said that process and fair. Now, a British constitutional way, why then did you take part in the process? What does America say? Because she's questioning the whole process, the whole premier facia way that has been established. But for the first time, you've been given a hearing before that decision was taken. And son a council of state, you got Tanase, so she says a council of state, Omunim Yansa, Omunim Domoye, and on quite Nim Yansa, and now she's questioning that particular thing. And America says she's clutching her straws. This is a sinking woman and swear fan, so she's just clutching her straws. But you see, it's better so we give you up not quite enough than this shameless fight. And America, all this while, I had a lot of respect for her. But with this particular thing, everything is gone. Because my catchers are some band of she has demonstrated sufficiently, say, Tina Otihono, she was just doing the burden of some people. And the people he was doing their burden are the very people who forced I relieve no moody go paper so a bisano so who had answer behind him. And Sanya way go ahead to dent the credibility of our judiciary. And that Justice Ponamina wouldn't way no so catches or your bias. And obey a bias obedient yao. I don't know the days only Padua or back court in the past, the moody tiamo. That is the modus operandi. Yeah. You are always biased because Sesan, you are we chief justice, you bet me a bias at Yawa. It means over the years, ordinary person don't buy anything. And she's questioning very things she has been defended. So for me, I think this woman should be disregarded. Or you lost count on her. Sinking, she doesn't want to go alone. She's just trying to blow everything off her way. The president needs to remain resolute, focused, and stay on track. Because as long as I veer off, not only and not make any mistake, there hasn't been any constitutional infraction, there hasn't been any infringement, there hasn't been any breach of any of the articles as enshrined in the Constitution under Article 146 downwards. The president needs to remain resolute and go for it because you see, if he cow under this particular pressure, now a woman will coming back, pressure about so I'm telling you. Because there are a significant number of Ghanaians we are convinced that this woman is very dangerous. She poses a significant danger to the very foundations of our judicial institution. And here coming back, will complicate things. And people don't need her back because they are all here crowd there. This or you lost Canada, she's coming for a reason. And Chief Justice Edward Otumfo to tell Ghana for say suspending a president Mahama suspending illegal anti-court to Montungu. Hey, what a shameless woman. Yeah. So Ghana for Mobetias here, why all these years we've been fighting for state institutions. These are despicable characters over the years, clothed in the name of me a judge and me away. I'm telling you, you are going forward, your generation, you me. Oh, Matanama Casamama ruling to be a no. We live in a liberal society. Say yes to Christo, but not Supreme Court no more ruling in Yansa anymore or Bajan heat. Oh, I'm telling you. Because Obetina called judge akunyanum na omo ruling na nyansa anima. Oh, imagine it. Because you see, you can't cow people into intimidation.
Yeah.
You can't cow us into subjugation. Say, man, I'm a judge. Pongo mi shemiti. Pontius Pilate cries, no see judge. Pongo mi shoti. So I think that they must begin to realize these things and tell them. Now, era na we've moved from 1990, we've moved from 2000, and then everybody has a platform.
Yeah.
That is what the last time I was telling you, there are no consumers of news. We are all prosumers, producing and consuming at the same time. I have the capacity to go on platform, make news, people will come and consume. Exactly. So you have no control over the narrative. Those were the days that you could just assemble few misguided, twisted journalists who were so greedy, selling serving their belly. You take them somewhere, you give them money, they will come and twist and build a certain narrative. And people can build their own narrative on their own platform. Yeah. And some of us can reach out to over millions, thousands of people within a minute. You understand? So you can no longer control the narrative. So I think the air cost, obi or bending to for say, oh, good anymore, she's not even fighting anything. Because Microphone wouldn't anyone yodum. So what kind of true way a woman nyansaba the relief she's seeking, and she's rather questioning herself. Because these are things you've been defending.
Yeah.
No, quite this idea we had, And Loretta, we now had the same process,
Yeah.
Akufo-Addo de judges na di suspend your mono. Na ye fan saying toko no ni krom ha say. Judges na owie ya opam omo na omo nya nipa omo ni maame. These are shameless characters. For me, this is the reason why some of us have been asking, say, we need to prune the judiciary. Because these characters are there, they are not serving their interest. Their allegiance isn't to the Ghana, isn't to the constitution of this country, isn't to the flag, and isn't to the people. It is to themselves and your friends are puppet masters who give them power. And that is what they are there to serve. And then the combination between the Chief Justice and Godfred Odame speak it all. Because we are smart, looking at how your friends saying the political terrain and how a man for fraud or sonoma now we don't want the last person as a sensible person you consider as your lawyer. Oh yeah, me say common sense.
It's so obvious.
Man for fraud no, you are even confirming it.
Yeah.
I keep telling people that common sense no, can you say abu obia obio. It's a basal default decision that every sensible human being supposed to. It's common, but it doesn't mean it's common to Obia because sad decision the crowd were making a poor judgment on her part going for Godfred Odame as your lawyer because you know some characters and we are politics now perception play a crucial role. How people perceive you, corruption measure. What is Obia kwache corruption begin hoda? What is Obi say corruption ya kokwa no read that? Perception and the measure that is why corruption perception index. So how people perceive. So the air course you are only confirming the perception people have. It used to be abstract, but now you are putting faces behind it. Say indeed, and some year cancer we are bias and you are already in bed with these people over the years. Godfred Odame and original court, he was caught manipulating your friends a witness. And the Jackpot case. Yeah, Jackpot case. And when you were the Chief Justice, we were calling say you remove and the guys sought to it. Said the case went to it. Your friends go to it. Logical conclusion. The Chief Justice never uttered a word in this country. So never when you never play out and then fight fair, fight fair, win. And Ghana for Muzo Mahama by and the sound of Qadan say Muna or try say remove Chief Justice. But you are not fighting fair. What's slip into the gutters fighting dirty? And I'm telling you, we fight dirtier. So also we fight dirtier. We are ready for her and she will not survive. Because Nema way it's not as if so be which until. Yes, say if you want to come to the table, don't come with emotions. Don't come with some of these silly insinuations and things that Ghana fall for this thing. No, we will not. Because as an ordinary Ghanaian Metihano, what I'm seeking is that the judiciary is sanitized so that people once again have confidence in our democratic institution. Because I am worried when I look around Ghana and I realize that countries no more border any cool countries. We cannot risk it, especially when people don't have trust in an institution like the judiciary, when somebody will be sitting there and be making foolish decisions. In recent times, Look at rulings coming out of the Supreme Court and look at public reaction. Supreme Court come out with ruling and people says, they with the nyansa. But my culture said, law, the baser element, as I will find, will lay your hands on every day, a reasoning, logic, and common sense. Ghana and Kwana ruling free Supreme Court by this element are missing. And you think people will swallow because, what's up, my lord, oh, bodam, we will respect you when you give us reason.
Yeah.
If you are able to say, Adena May and say, na Ghana for who say Nyansa over the years, Supreme Court ruling about also be a challenging, also be a questioning. Why this? Because people have realized that these people are only using these things to further their personal and individual parochial interests. Yeah. And we are no longer going to sit here and become pawns on the chessboard of these jokers who pretend they know it or they have it or they've seen it or no. Yeah, so no. We are looking through, making sure this whole thing will go through. Have we ever advocated for the removal of the Chief Justice for no reason?
No.
It's because of what is happening. And we consistently keep telling the president he should make sure he stick within line. Because President Mahama every year off. Now, you see extra means just to hound this woman out. I'll be the first one to react. You understand? But as it stands now, no single infraction. And we bet me laying the hands on. Now, be true and proper interpretation, true and proper. Oh, yeah. I think that they need to get serious.
Okay.
The committee need to sit down. So, I'm afraid now, they should write their report, send it to the president, and he should go ahead and take whatever decision that you want to take. Because the same Tokono has proven to us, say there are some Supreme Court, the action can continue. A banner say, we are exactly.
You buy the court, and Daniel, you almost want Munti.
Yeah, exactly. And I make us say, the way I am, no. If I want to make decision, public decision, you have to have your back against the wall. Sabaya, there will be no questions at your back. Now, who say, Adena Mayor, is it a reasonable course of action that I'm taking? Because these are things you are guilty of. It's one of the reasons why people are questioning your competency as a judge. Because over the assembly, you will find a way to manipulate it just to ensure that people will get their way. And government at the end of the day, they will have free right to do whatever that they want to do. And have cited instances in the case of this e-levy, in the case of NDC and 6 other political parties against the EC, in the case of Damlivo, in the case of LGBT case, several other cases are the same call. You used your personal power to manipulate these things in a very subtle way. And today, you are here telling us the whole presidential committee now set it up, we should stop it. And you've given them 14 days. You are not serious, woman. This process, I'm saying, the president should not waver. He should make sure that the committee will sit. They should submit their report and, if possible, remove her. Because or this woman may be on she has proven sufficient result for integrity or nibi. She's a very dishonest character. And for me, her coming back to our judiciary, will further destroy every bit of sanity remaining in our judiciary. And you think people will be going to court when this woman is sitting there and her colleagues accuse you almost bias, they will be comfortable sitting on the bench with her. You understand? You see, this is a woman, corner, she has decided to fight dirty. And I'm going to say, if she wants to fight dirty, government needs to adopt the same strategy and meet her equal measure. Because now she's going political. You understand? It is no longer. And again, one other important thing a woman say, this woman in her relief is saying, she wants the whole thing to be public. Yeah. The hearing must be public. Yeah. The Constitution is very explicit on this particular matter, and it says the hearing must be held in camera. There is an explicit constitutional provision. I say, the hearing, because of the nature of this whole thing, it must be held in camera. And this is not the first time this thing is being held in camera. Yeah, we've had instances in the past that all the proceedings now, nobody heard it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, for the dignity of the office. Yeah. And then the woman who has been defending these things over the years stood for these things, questioning why So I didn't know or every right to say she must be heard and I say in the public my Ghana for who the ekoso. You don't need the general public to tell you what is to see the ekoso. This is your friend say idea emra and the regulate and until that is done no.
Say ya.
Yeah, some more. So until that is done, you cannot set rules for yourself because it is you. Because there have been several instances. Among go thing.
Process of the process. Yeah. You never recommended say Ghana for being part of the process. It would not save you. That's what I'm saying. Is that they want to go political. It's an emotional warfare that they are trying to wage on the presidency. It's an emotional warfare. And if you're say now you're falling for some of this nonsense being set in motion by these jokers, trust me, the Republic will lose focus and Ghana will never trust the president anymore. He must stand on his ground and see these people as jokers for who they are. Because like I said, the MPP is a sinking enterprise. Any silly stuff that comes up, they will hang on and they will do. And that's exactly if these guys have any iota of your friends saying, shame you or this one. And this thing will be the last thing they will be fighting for. But what can we say?
All right, so that's innocent. Ivan Kyei innocent, and innocent. He at the end of much say comments on Facebook ne dear. Otumi say, "Junior wa Ghana for 3 mois and innocent akano." Brand Listowel akwaba.
Yeah,
Boko. Nyame ase. Shall say your time no. Chief Justice or courts. We are sure say what for look akra. Yeah. Your take on it. You are not Ivan Yako Baumia apology ne or say abai NDC ni policy be obeti media back CD appreciation. And the rally so we are starting free Chief Justice in the others.
Baby, I am not be hard.
Okay.
But democracy, yeah, young cassette, Ntim Fordjour, and answer phone corner and cassette. Share, be a Timicana, Bodem Timicana. The only time I say I'm a Bodem and participate in democracy near Brian Kotwaba.
Okay.
Me almost in few you watch. And yes, democracy and my be a home fine. No crown, sir, 18 years, sir, will be better than. Say, yes, I thought I said you who said, and Colano, yes, sir, Omunkotuaba, I have no Makofa. Bibi Basabi, and the above the sheep among us. And now constituency. Na say any democracy and they say a memo fufuru bia no ebema enyansafo kwa na akasa government of the wise and can nipa be organa including the outgoing Chief Justice
suspended.
I am choosing my words because of how I reason.
Okay.
Because I believe we are at home. Even a scintilla or a molecule of respect for herself. By now, I was saying for indignity. Because yet there and any big was. She cannot be wiser than the wise men and women that advise the president. She cannot be. Oh, they live in a very delusional world. And Momu say, Omu ye nipa chen nipa bino. Meanwhile, look at her. Obi awo, obra wa boy nyina de se. Okofa ban sika na de twatikita ma ukunu ne wo ba. Nema. Wait. Oh. Eya na enye aboa kese ne kumoso no. Eya ntatia ne ba kitikiti se due. Oh ne boni awaye wo Ghana ha nyina, oh say ya nkwanko site ene one of them. Penny Boasie we at time. Abi de ni kofie. I feel the law is not the law again. Who said that the enemy catch us say NPP ni lawyer catch us so ni mumra wabwa?
Onim judge.
Onim judge. Who say afi yehu baby a judge no? Lawyer ni nimu no. Ni judge ni hwan? Ni lawyer ni hwan?
Godfrey Dame.
Afi who dey tia na Godfrey Dame, what to ne ho about, what throw ni weight about, who baby na efi. Just any kwasiafo. Mo hwe mo manim na mo hwe yen a, hwan na kwasia. No. So onu Godfrey Dame yeah other TV sui. So onu hwe onu nanim. Na wo hwe Ghana fo yen anim a hwan pa na wo se kwasia. Yeah onu betime abu yen kwasia. Kese all along no omo kwase dem no makuku asem na nya no kura they said you only jakwa kwa kasa yen.
Yeah.
This was a friend say an attorney general we nipa fun say no ya attorney general
na agozo de no
okay hwe de odi ya agozo hwe de odi ye miami nua Gregory Afoko. We have lived this nonsense in this country. We have lived it because the same way nipa fun tantan way ye ni national man we as the attorney general minister for injustice. There was nothing justice about them. Nothing. We have lived them in this country, with them here in this country. And to me, I predicted all these things. In fact, they are not ending at this stage. They have another Adi Ombese Pulu, which one I'm very sure. You see, they have never learned any lesson. They don't know the man John Mahama. They don't know him. John Mahama na ni emu ni get. Wo we on fi omo. What do you want me then? Wo wa ko di o man sika. Akwan bone so. Ana ya ya wo petition. Ansa na ko di o man sika no. He Ghana for. On say edumeko yi. Koye survey
Global Info
Analytics.
Yeah.
Omukọ so omukoye research no. Omuto question into me say Ghana for saying enenkeka omunko a nenka Chief Justice no okọ. Well over 64%.
Yeah.
Say omun pese omubehu we as a Chief Justice because oye chief injustice. There is nothing justice about her. Ekufodo se menye se ntimeye. Afenyo marking yem busu ni ntimeye. Na afenyo marking ntimi akọ file case and opana by 12 no Onua judgment. Where on this earth? Na ye dey sem papa batu anim say LGBT dey enti je ho adwuma. Edi busu me sen.
Almost a year.
Almost a year. And somebody have a ye dey ile bi koto nanim ohunyansa. Wait, how does he qualify to be a Chief Justice? Send a good father. Where how does he qualify to be a Chief Justice?
I say, you're lucky. Say, John Mahama is a gentle person.
Let me tell you. You're more and say public never fool, but and say you before too much. And say you before, sir, or more work, be over quiet, because you don't know the lunch of a campaign. Take it, this say yes, do they know what would have been the ramification? Do they know how angered they have put the Ghanaian into? Do they know our state? But it's just that I say a bias is son. It's the park of a baby. Like I went on, he be see more street in the Mungamu. Like I who how Nipa Buafu our Ghana. After having impoverished everybody and made everyone feel like a slave. People were feeling like slaves in our own country. Only NPP ni nyasem. Ya me manya masasi me makotua ka me ade na media NPP ni say opa court. No one wa assassinate free nsem. No one no di ne to me because of NPP ni onim judge, onim lawyer, onim judge. No one wa ade na free nsem. And I felt like a slave in my own country. Who the assembly judge I the assembly man. This is how Ghanaians felt and the Akufo-Addo. The so-called lawyer, so called without a certificate. Etino baby Ghana for adwene ene yakoma akwakoto no. Check omu nim nyansa e kombe mana da baby da because we shall meet them equally, squarely, boot for boot. The independence of the judiciary. How does Godfrey Odame understand the independence of the judiciary when he was being the puppeteer? Playing puppeteer around with the justices who were the puppets. All the justices were puppets under Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo can't. No, yeah. Godfrey Odame said, damn you, said, damn or damn the damn wabo, or call ya fight judgment in the far no diafa. Now, when you went and met Japa, who would not even subscribe to being that nuisance that you are, what happened? What could you say? I may catch a judge in Sawo Yare, Intino, who we are no Saka for another judge, Yoni Kolendi, of the Supreme Court, Nana Quatnasi. Say, I only Japan Casa because no, any Japan, not Japan Tiasie, na Yafa, a friend is saying, at your forcing, signing the new way, I can hear dollar see the event at the eye. Who was vice president? I want bomb check crow. Was so dollar move from 4, they could do 18 almost. Now, or no, at all force now, you need the nature say, a quiet monansu yamwa. Said governor of Bank of Ghana, bet Jessica, to 3 year over 60 something billion dollars cities. Was it in cities?
Yes.
What are 61 point something billion cities? No mama Kocaine say all writing it off. Say you bad debt. Just a more we are. E dey akwese mo pass the $2 okrum. Nti onya ne bad debt. Na to force to for say Derby. Edu baby, to force in the national parliament. O say Derby. Sika ya mo ka say ye dey kai. Ye ka na ye dey no. E bro sa because mo fa syndicated loan nka ho. Yeah. Mo fa your friend is saying get fund sika. Any nyoma sa bills ya bonds ya mo raising nyina no enka ho enti mo pɛ kwan ya mo betimi de bonds ni nyina den aka ho na ye hu se ye kanie asoman okoka se ya kano fratasi betiko appoint ya na sa na tie bia ene mo nkonko san atofo sen. You took us through all these injustices and we walked on. In the case of Gregoria Foku, obi ayama ni bail court of competence jurisdiction amani bail. Who see there be bail condition where meeting? Who na who can say bail condition where meeting? No, Akufo-Addo na mu no kwa obe wiye sika, o wi oman yi no, ono brabe na no ono wabo. Pafoko ni Akufo-Addo, Pafoko, o di Akufo-Addo abusu ni nyina bomu a. Brabe Pafoko wabo no. Akufo-Addo obetima bo sa bra ni bi. Enye ni papa kwa na bo brama ni betonton ya. Akufo-Addo obetima bo sa bra ni bi. So when meet bail condition. No matter at na kwa kosem. No matter fa kwati kwa so asa court for say bail no cry yetwam. We lived this in this country. No the bia judge for amu nyina say bi enye ma me kro ni papa kro na wo mu. Enta for kro obi abile. Na say ya ye court ya en say mu bai. Na no mu nya 32. And no when you 4-1.
Yes, and obi adwene nko.
Eh adwuma charge no. Obi a wona adwene da ni tima adwuma. Na mo de 709050.
Unanimous.
Jimmy ama mo ankasa mo minister for your friend says national security be catch am say dia mo ye no dangerous. Because Ghana for betimi asori adi boom dako. Judge otimi ko catch am say wo birth certificate enye papa. Name the birth certificate now won na your passport no papa wait why your judge what man ni etuaka no what pay no akokoti na your kan Ghana for population sources ni akan Listowel ni akan na ka ho wait okay your kan mu na your kan na ka ho. How is that person a human being? Tell me what be our no passport now e kura no the birth certificate na the man passport ni your passport what's the birth certificate ni your papa wait on your kan Ghana for ni akan na ka ho. How is that person a human being?
Me da say.
You know, baby, I true no. Yeah. Ebufu sem wo Ghana for akuma mu pa. Just that to Mahama no, the subai as a reflect am Ghana for bia per se or accommodate the nuances. Now you move forward. High Ghana ni bia ye peeved. Ghana ni bia ye worried. Ghana ni bia ye disturbed. But only hope we have had. John Mahama. He is the only hope factor. And Untigana for fee say, oh, we mu position. That's a second Koba say, a kufa do netiso. And as I we consult Kejato many.
All right.
Sabi me ne pokument traho. Na obi te say Godfrey. I mean, na ono keno for that way, nipa way. Na ono afam sika no akodi. Na every time o me yan kontabu a o se me ma. Na we jani. Na me achem me ma. Odasu tibiase. Etino adwen. The only hope factor, like I've said, is John Mahama. Now, omunna omunya miase. So omu share John Mahama as president. Even with Nini Pesuno, onye walkover, onye pushover, onye obia, she said the omuye. We want to talk about Romokra.
All right.
Because he knows much more details than we do.
Okay.
If you don't want to attend on the committee, you can keep yourself. It's not forced. Obia me for so sebet now. After all, we had a justice, no superintendent over a certain bench. No can say, oh ma, J Mensa Mamma, who judge no crowd accountable and answerable to the Ghanaian. Now we will be on no question about also. Now never pay na kwanya for the first obedi president the second term. Yenim about would do onya yenim. Now who judge what in your track can pass the same way. Matthias say Nico FIFA. Obi a $1.5 million bribe. Get me who need you call this a judiciary? What is justiciable about them? Tell me. Then you are telling me independence of the judiciary. You go for the politics there, a democracy. But them you want to drink today. And untina or damn way to me better than I do. Then yes, sir, like a Ghana ha, they say Nasa Fonkasa. Where would he stand? Because nothing makes sense about what he says. Nothing about him makes sense. Nothing. Not a scintilla of anything about him makes sense. Who about the Ghana for how the independence of the judiciary here? Obi a wo na wo kwakọ face match against who opponents. Law be na wonim. Enye judge na wonim no a. Say wa ma wo to ade die we me eno me hu say go freda me gina mu ema ma me na say oh erade nyame. Na me ni adansi die kura na wa ma me bi. What say me ama me hu say wa sem na kan yo. Say the here dem no se mi sufre wa obeje me so. We me sumpo. Na Nyankopon wa je me so. Na wa ma me ehu say na de me kan nyina say NPP ni lawyer bia nim judge no. Say na omo wo judge no ehu enkomodie bokokoam. En Nyankopon wa ma na de dia magana fo nyina ehu. Onimu law. Onimu. All right. It won't say you say Chief Justice now on the entire. Who say NPP for you to shame you and say you be choma. Na mom say ba me wait hwa ono na de judge obekwa di asem ne beba enti no ebeboa ma ono obekwa kofa MPP ni judge etu wo NDC ni aban wo di MPP ni akokot no ma me we na be kire judge obedi asem no akodi asem no ntanchia no wasisi oman no ma feska no mo di that criminal syndicate na ayi tokonu eda no wo judiciary ho no na da pare da no wo police service ho no Nankopon nti ene Jericho afesu no adwira gu say burim anim gwase na aka omo say omo yam sisi omo because that is bad for money odi wu kotum no na yire so oje ewo ensawam odi wu betum because ukodi o man ni sika ye nya o maami we ntoko mu kunyina ni senka maami we be me ye ja o mu nyina free enu ti na MPP fo ahura si akonkon ekwa bia so yafa maami we mra maami we ohu na konya no ohu bia mu da because Nyankopon ni monyam. All right. Oh, na konya biamu da na ye no me so say o ye na adwe so be ye so Nyankopon be strike omo. Me are very spiritual. I am very spiritual when it comes to some of these things because the way of my destroy my they don't know what Ghana is. Ghana ain't nyame mind. Why are we in the center of the world? Have you ever thought of it? Do you know the center of the world is here in this country? The center of the equator is here. Meridian Hotel, Ehona, Nkrumah, Eko sees our hotel no because in the center of the world. And you nyame mind. And you say, oh, yeah, my way, Bonnie, and Yakupon will share when you was a forecast to your 10th generation. I guess I walk on Sir Boniface or mine at Yachel. That's his bad for money. On this set to come. And I said, Waka, fixing match for them. Oba, Obian can ask them. It is only those justices who fear. Say omo troubles neni omo nyoma beba begu abonten. Omo na da bia no omo so wo ba fa recorder ma wo pekre ja phone wa abonten wo ba say oba no ewo the friend is saying prisons ni kunu na ye chief justice. Wo de ye do kwa podin se hu. Ye do betum ama na yire no ono be ma ne du tum no na ne yire na eje wo. Oh yo baby careful. All
right, okay. My answer so now for young cop. You're not topic. Innocent, me sure say we so there ye nim sema jaye nyina ya discuss bia. Me sure say what doctor about me apology no. The Kocaine wa London. Or say anawante.
Osi so about me that.
That about me London. I think there was a global something the hono ko kasa ya o say ye factories emu mind the whole lot of things so kasa bibi o wie ye na o de a chopa ka ho say on his behalf, on her personal behalf and on the behalf of the party no so Opagana for nyina say they didn't get some of the things right o wie no de ato so say city appreciation no kra no NDC any a policy o metimi e de back say omo e no mama city no enya ahode.
Yeah, I think that the entire mountain say I'm focused and I don't want to be swayed, you know. I don't avail my mind to some of these jokers who wasted everybody's time for almost 8 good years. Because they said it all. Lectures upon lectures, conferences upon conferences. These are, your friend is saying, overhyped intellectuals. They made it look like say I said school no more coil. Lebi American say university no more coil. No more really going to move down no go here. And here Kosato and no more call the special ones. You see, these are jokers. When they got power, they toyed, misled, and mismanaged, stole and plundered this country. So out there, he's entitled to say whatever. All that he's doing is to try to build a comeback. And that is exactly what he's doing. Because losing the voice, he will lose his essence and relevance. So he needs to talk and a whole lot of stuff. And for me, apologizing to Ghanaians, you know, I landed because Ghana for Antwerp. He should come here and apologize to Ghanaians, not to his party. Because some of the things on my end will say, you know, they say a level and indelible ink in the conscience of Ghanaians and it's going to stay forever. Near my Ghana from even a judiciary, a monsoon so been a year win. So apology they should rather go on their knees, house to house. And you Ghana for how or 8 years to destroy this country. The very foundation that you built it to a very way. It got to a time in Ghana, a kakakrabin ka democracy. So for his apology in as a forum there, I think that Ghana for we are focused now. And with the dollar and then as a forum, can you see? Yeah, because these guys are jokers. You had opportunity to be in power for 8 good years. 8 good years, you know, you could not implement a single policy stabilizing the city. Not even a single one. And it got to a point Dr. Bawumia economy asem.
No kadegeta.
He was labeled the digital man. Will be a wakacha Ghana for CN to Abama because who live economic transformation and as a forum no. Every year. Now he was talking about digital stuff and as a forum. And my economy is sinking to a point $1. Every now Ghana cedi na one of the most the weakest currency around the globe. Businesses in everything was going wayward. Now another government has come. Some interventions have been activated under a clear-cut policy. Policy in the other documents are called Parliament. Yes, inside the policy now. On this serious, he's a joker. And I'm a Captain said. There has been strategic intervention because one for investor confidence and Kasakwani boost your financial the economy. Investor confidence alone ain't enough because because of the trajectory new government coming, you know, it brings some hope into the economy, and these people will bring their money. That is the beginning of it. And again, government this gold bond how this gold this thing also serve as a buffer to stabilize the city. These are deliberate interventions that has been adopted by government. Now the material cabinet number we say Aban have decided not to spend it into young spend there city stabilize it. So why didn't they stop spending?
Okay.
And I know some say, you say Canada, Japan say, people are not chasing the dollar. They don't want the dollar. I say, you see, these guys, no, omunim your more keka. As a politics in Abam for the microphone, so no can say who says that people don't want the dollar. Even China, or say on all leading countries, you break your way to come out with a new currency, no. Or the dollar. Because he does on one casa pay the sika. Because the currency is not stable. There is no serious country around the world. Or could dig or say mepe the Chinese yuan. Why the budget? Who treasury? Oko China, or even sika na wabon tin crown about 60 to 50% in US dollars in an as for them. I feel that they're trying to buy gold just to ensure say or best substitute that with gold. Because the dollar has proven to be the most stable currency. That is the only reason people use it. It is not as if say people are not looking for dollar. Now say a man for look for dollar near China or Ghana. So I didn't say a currency is stabilizing. Why not Africa Coast? Why not Nigeria? Why not other African countries? And several other African countries are most of. You see, you say so one for credit, I'm the credit, you will be unrecognized all that. That is why they are divided among their front. Canada, Japan, Canada, Fenyomark, Canada, but we are number be Canada. Oh, and some more countries be anywhere if I can be anywhere in the fact is that we gave you 8 good years to manage the city. And that was the top priority of Dr. Bawumia. And you know catch that.
Yeah.
Say we don't bet dollar no. Now we're locking or demo. Now or the key ama wine IGP. You never buy a hosona dollar no mum the Bawumia said them locking no. And the guy was preaching IT. Talking about digital infrastructure and as for when he didn't even do a thing. Economy, you never spoke about it for the entire 8 years. For the entire 4 years and away him. And my economy got it worse. And then Yababe drew a pointer. Ghanaians are beginning to see certain light. As a decent politician, no, at least you give credit to who credit or deserve. You don't just try to take it away. Say I will not give credit to people because I said they almost say oil for gold. No more.
Yeah, good for oil.
Now we will be on the
oh yeah, no, I no almost say Donald Trump. Tariffs now or American. And I'm and
I think African countries will be a currency be appreciate.
Yeah.
And I make I say as some no more kind of the poverty of intellect and logic is so outstanding and very overwhelming. Say Nansani be no better take you serious. That is why I was advising say you see the MPP a political party about opposition. They need to sit down and regroup and see how I'm betting connected because yeah, so we a political party now we lose power. You don't just lose power.
Yeah.
You lose connection with the people. You lose your goodwill. So you try to front the party with intelligent minds. Say by those individuals, you know, I bet me I try to reconnect with the people. But they are fronting the party with arrogant, misguided, twisted minds who are so full of themselves to the extent say they are still sitting on high horses at this time, making pronouncements that are so filthy, that are so despicable, that are so annoying to the extent say Ghana are not finding any reason to reconnect with the MPP anymore. Because in a party viable position, that is why you begin to redo things just to ensure, say, you identify yourself with the people, you become their voice. When I will lead the chat for them. But in this kind of a position that the MPP is in now, no, so who's more left or more right or about showmanship, everybody is chasing popularity. And the Kocaine say be say Bununa man for boni dia or newspaper man, then they are there. Any single staff be because we are you see them there just trying to draw attention to themselves. And for me, that's very embarrassing because you see, your democracy, we need to shepherd it in such a way. Say, I remember that youth now or more banya trust and confidence in democracy once again because you see, democracy is losing grounds. Nebedru be military around us. And maybe bedru we never kwenya kran kwatena ba bi nkwatena wadwen o because even the social media space in Asiedu, the tendency of people shutting it down here very high. You will not have a voice. That is why some of us will always prefer, say, we need to ensure, say, we protect the foundations of our democracy. By doing so, no, we need to activate trust and confidence. Every average and the ordinary Ghanaian, every confidence, our democracy. And yes, we are done as people. So we need to begin to do some of these things. Nayama candor, integrity, and leading the way in our politics. But if you begin to do things with deception, begin to do things the way a man I'm not sure that Ghana will get anywhere. So they need to go to the drawing board. I know who say
the old staff or more year Ghana for reject your money. That is the same thing they are doing. And now Ghanaians are mature minds and some of these nasty stuff, some of this filthy propaganda, some of this despicable, your friends say, narrative, I'm not try just to be relevant. You know, Ghana will not fall for some of this nonsense. And until the Chief Justice issue by upon all the press conferences, upon all the distance of my and fly and come here. And I'm assuring them, say, this 1 2 shall pass. Because it will not change anything. Because President Mahama will not allow himself to be cowed into intimidation by saying, say, oh, Chief Justice the Miyako Court, me yi injunction na free no so. And injunction about no so no. Oh yes, so I think say we need to be guided. Now you're making sure say o minor yeah no. Yeah mfa mo bia yeah ma ye ho. Because unless a CD stabilize here, that's the best thing that can happen to everybody. Because you see, over the years we've been complaining. Yeah, international ratings, everything has gone bad. This is a perfect opportunity for us to turn things around. We need to advise government. It's not about the dollar coming down alone. Yeah. We need strategic intervention just to ensure that we stabilize it. And I've said, the best way is to industrialize it. Begin to produce things we need in this country. Sabaya yan society can kwa bonten kokra mo na se former kroma. Never ma see dollar never kroma no. A bit me value. Now I give you some way to your currency. And again, one thing that over the years you lose natural resources. Foreigners come to take everything away. How do we make sure say we own it? Sabaya yan sono you bet me add the value to it. Now bet me about the backbone of our economy. Now you me stabilize here. Now you say there be a currency run and now you import everything. Then everybody become poor. Inflation will eat the larger part of it. So the person in Ghana economy, we are Ghana near. Even a failed political party like the NPP government should be very much happy. Now you're making sure that proposals and interventions that is what you propose. But we live in a country, being opposition means the government in a form. So and some people babajo so. And that's exactly what they are doing. Intervention ben on the Gua under his 8 years, and to yield the results. Okay. In the from January to end, he did not appreciate it by how many percent? For 8 good years, he couldn't even appreciate it. It was on a downward way up. Everything was said in this country. Every single way was set in motion. Nothing worked. So now if it is working, it means some people are working. And if you can't give them credit, just shut up. People don't want to hear your voice because you see, you've lost goodwill. You deceive people. But me, I know what they got to go and say, oh yeah, your friend saying a lecture. Lecture for who? When your lectures are you were giving power. You fooled around, messed the whole economy around. The dollar, Ghana at the end of the day became a junk. Your friend say economic status in the eyes of the world. We couldn't even, your friend saying, sustain ourselves. Today you are out of power. You have the M fund. That's what I'm saying. That these are shameless bunch of people that should never be taken serious. Because if they are serious, I'm not sure that they'll be doing these things.
That is so. Ya pama chow acho pan munye ntum na me onto yare
abaya
enye
nipa bia na sebi ote enye me bia se ote ase tina school ayi na yintimi bi first bi nti ase wo achire papa now I was very worried about 3 days ago when I heard this Baumier's apology.
Oh, why were you worried?
And Doctor said or America. Officially pardon. A friend said, and we still breath on Baumia because maybe a medical condition be a woman who hear Yarisha. And to make person all the 2-bedroom. Now, initially, no, see me one number, main friend. Nanka Onua
ba omia na saba omia ka se na wonfa no
o ba oya yare
na wonfa no o na wanyare na wonfa
no o de bo yare ani din the schizophrenia bo phone so SCHI
meba
schizo SCHIZOFPH rather
we ya bakra
schizophrenia.
A disorder that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave clearly.
Bawumia yare pa seriously. No, you need jokes, the politics. Be out to say Bawumia yare for Unya yare.
Oh, Debbie.
No, it's true.
I know they are no shit.
Debbie, yeah. No credit care ya. Ya me ba me breo. Because when you say me can no credit, ya na me bomb Nyankopon pa ye say. Omwa me. Na nya mia o. Nyame na wasoma me say me me na adwuma.
Ti nyame adwuma na we.
No credit. Me ho ya me mobo. Because sayare we no. Aya Bawumia yare.
Na so that a doctor be undiagnosed, you don't file report in mind say or sayare.
Okay, pacho. Doctor Ben a diagnosis but then na what dancing doctor Ben a diagnosis so aboda.
Otekwa ho. Wa yi ne ho nyina nti wa aboda.
Ya onipa miensa o mo boda ma wu da. Nipa oyesikani oboda ma obi ehu. Nipa odi tumi oboda ma obi ehu da. Ana nipa oye nimdini.
Onima de.
Unse ya utimi ka se professor ade na professor na ma wo kasa. Ya unta hu sa.
We ta hu bi.
Na uhu se sikani aboda. Kene Japan na adwene adwuma.
O na adwene adwuma.
Ko ne ka che wo. Wo be ka se na adwene adwuma no kura wo hia diagnosis.
Hey, timi me hia diagnosis.
Yes. Na nipa we na adwene adwuma. Obi otimi di oba be tira TV so owi ana se se kura pa wa policy ni hwe.
It's up a president here didn't.
What policy imponi? Wait. It's na adwene adwuma.
Wajai.
They say men pese ebe to say bia me attacking the personality wey a humble plea. Chegana for beboa mo me fa Dr. Bawumia nko na onko hwe na aju oyare okay schizophrenia no o se den no obaya ema mo me enfa nya grow oyare o
a disorder that affects a person's ability to think, feel and behave clearly.
Dr. Bawumia's ability to think, you know, and yajuma. Timer, Nanka Ghana for crab it, Miaman applause. A timer, not OGP as vice president. The teaching you the second kitten yet a tin ya kutrianica. All because a Kufado say or no never Bama economy negina planning. Bebois. The Trianica for 8 years. Answer na yebe Trianica for 8 years no. Now I hear lectures for 8 years. And said be a Wobukubia about Nya kind Chegana for Emma Obenya popular. Your friend is saying a quote to be I say if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Bebois. Oba and enough fundamentals near weak neck, what kind of one man can't say,
I say it's what logic. Logic,
you know. Don't you believe, say, his ability to think, you know, and yet, because what you hear to my pass, what you know, a year to my say, you part in a year to my senior tier, senior doctor, say, actually, say, I was saying, who said, no, I can say, sir, if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. And then I may a doctor in economics. Me the first Ghanaian, may a doctor in economics. Baba bedi o man ya be man penny ya be di akire. President Kufuor in the Fourth Republic here away. President Rawlings. Na yi die no na economist. Like am person be doctor in economics. Me boa. President Kufuor wo ba no okofa kwankense aka ntimi amana anya. Okofa Aliu Mahama de ono economics for unsu ebida. Enti President Kufuor okofa Onua na konta. Ena na konta no be ye the senior minister J.H. Mensah. Eto ye senior minister no na oboama economy no ebeduru ba bia na eduru a afa eduru ba bi na wo hia bosia kra bank for se memma ya ye beba meboa. Ena Professor Mills baye ena ode ye cause single digit inflation meboa. The vice president na ye John Mahama meboa. John Mahama the economics o sua nyina ye O and A level. Wa nko university of economics ho. Ene Akufo-Addo be ka che Ghana for say ono Akufo-Addo okosua economics ewo UK ewo the college time. Ofi won oba Ghana Legon onya third class and social economics. Third class no nka ye pass. But Nyankopon ye na dom na almost president badie ontimi man third class pass say am man third class. And onya third class. And o say Onua ankasa no won say na nim economics mu papa nti wakwa for doctor in economics aba. And a doctor ni say na oye lectures. Doctor ni ba na dollar ni e 4 cedi. O peja dollar ni free 4 cedi ko do 18 cedis. 18 cedis. Well, who yan sa breno a me pagana for chew. I can't tell Ghana for say my bon be your bufu mu okunyini. Enti mu nya me na me fa me bon ko fie. After all the dust settled, no.
Yeah.
I Ghana for yenya hope in John Mahama ban. Wa bra o ma dollar na e ko fom no. Afa na Dr. Baomi e be ka say we pa che o kakra na o mo get some things wrong. There's a woman, when someone is getting it right, you know, that is when you see, say, you got it wrong. It means you are not thinking well as a human being. And I say, was sounding no more, and I see, you know, and this is funny, you may be a Unawabem. Baumia, Unawabem. I didn't know, yeah, and until you see the Nabwa, I did not brand it. Then about me, yeah, on one mechanic, yente. Atofo se akola ketwa. Oye doctor.
Yeah.
Dr. Kezel Kasiel
Atofo.
And I'm catch say NPP ni bia okura law certificate, okura economics. Omo nyina they buy it. They don't go to school to learn. They buy the certificate just so that they get a title. They think say it's just about a title. Oh, you're a doctor. And you hear Baomi also a doctor. Oh, the bomb baby, all the dollar could do here. Oh, another doctor buy, oh, baby, a dollar nickel. It is a cash MPP ni, Waboma, and ye BBO. A inheritance, a bomb inheritance. Papa no ma bon, no de mumba. Mumuni Baomia, papa, no a bon. The bay wabon, you know, bon. And ye BBO because they don't want to be that they are look your mom better or more IQs. Because who do average grandpa? You won't take them 1141. Enra, are you for new month first have a fiaka?
Yeah.
$220 something million.
Dollars.
Opa, okay? Okay, a bedroom now.
Bedroom Pempensway and then a lawyer. Former Attorney General Godfrey Obuadame, we shall have a Chief Justice Nensam Ekona. As Obia, we are researcher. Now we are social commentator. Send us me who in the past said you handle no sape pepe na weseko.
Yeah, teacher Kojo de dikama mention na mention what here for. Na menka say Obia no work Ghana bia before ye beto aba no. Na all raise 5 key issues and Ghana for I was very much concerned about say oman no kwanya ya kwan bone so na yanhwe ya cool and say any atogram chambia betimi ato oman we ya na those key things no judiciary na one of them ni nyina na say na ahotoso na rehemu a Ghana for the war ya judiciary num no it got to a point na it was zero. And some are making yes, some about me team in America. Yeah. There were a lot of posts, media houses, Joy for Ranibi, TV3 for Ranibi, and several other major. Me I want to FM crown no.